Hello everyone. It's been a good while since my last video. So I think I recorded my last video after Gameweek 6 and after making my transfer for Gameweek 7. And that transfer was transferring out Aaron Ramsdale and bringing in Robert Sanchez. A lot happened after that. A lot happened after that Gameweek. So let's start with the proceedings. Very first, the Brighton versus Crystal Palace fixture got cancelled due to the rail strikes, which obviously meant, of course, Sanchez was scheduled to play in Game Week 7, which was against Bournemouth, so that was fine. But in Game Week 8, he would have had no fixtures, and I would have to play Danny Ward, which he did score 0 points in Game Week 8, so that would have meant I got absolutely nothing out of my goalkeepers. And then, of course, Game Week 7 entirely got cancelled. And FPL did a good thing. They played out the game week, and what exactly happened there was they decided to, just run through the week, give everyone 0 points, and they also reinstated all the majority of the chips, free hit and triple captain bench boost, and everyone who wildcard in Game Week 7, they had their wildcard extended to Game Week 8, which was fair. So I took that opportunity. Now, of course, I made a transfer, and that transfer now looked pretty bad on paper because I bought in a player who would have no fixture in the very next game week. And of course, how did I forget? Thomas Tuchel got sacked. And that, of course, meant Graham Potter went from Brighton to Chelsea, which we don't know yet how it would affect Brighton. Chelsea have played a game after that, but Brighton have just not featured. We don't know if Brighton are going to be as good in both defense and attack as they have been. In any case, so what I did was I decided to play my free hit chip because, of course, FPL said that they would reinstate the free hit chip. Anyone who played it in Game Week 7 will have it back post the deadline. So I played my free hit chip, and that, of course, cancelled my Ramsdale to Sanchez transfer, and yeah, I got Ramsdale back. Ramsdale, of course, fell in price. That was, he became inevitably, he became the first player for me who, in my team this season, who actually dropped in price from my selling price, from my buying price. So if I sell him now, it would cost me 0.1 million. And then, of course, now we know that Arsenal and Man City are not going to have fixtures in Game Week 12. And most of us, before this round of havoc, most of us had 2 or 3 City players and 2 or 3 Arsenal players. So, yeah, so if we want to put 11 men out on pitch, then, of course, we have to, sell off some of our Arsenal or City assets before Game Week 12. So, anyway, in Game Week 8, Game Week 8 was, in danger of being cancelled out as well. Initially, we thought that the London fixtures would be cancelled. Eventually, what happened was the Liverpool and Chelsea game, which was supposed to be played in London, that got cancelled. And Man United and Leeds United game, that got cancelled due to security reasons as well. So, that was not the worst case scenario for me. It would have been a disaster for me if, Arsenal did not play. So, Arsenal played, which meant I had 10 players. After making my transfer for the game week, I sold off Ivan Toney, my hat-trick hero from Game Week 6, and I decided to bring Mitrovic in. A lot of people sold Gabriel Jesus last game week, and I just looked at Arsenal and Brentford fixtures, and I just thought, Arsenal have It's just not that Arsenal are the better team, but also Arsenal have very decent fixtures until Game Week 16, and yeah, if possible, I'd absolutely want to hold the Arsenal players. But fact of the matter is, I'll have to probably get rid of, unless I want to play Danny Ward. I don't know if he's even going to hold on to his place by then. But if either I have to play, Danny Ward, or I'll have to get rid of Ramsdale, or maybe I'll just have to get rid of Danny Ward. Let's see. And of course, I'll have to sell, one between Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, Erling Haaland, or Joao Cancelo. One of those four players have to go before Game Week 12, but there's time for that. So my first transfer was Tony to Mitrovic, and then that meant I had 10 players. So, and I was quite okay with playing with 10 players, because last season I played out quite a few weeks with less than 11 men, and I had green arrows in most of them. But eventually the temptation was, because Chelsea's fixture was cancelled. So I had this temptation of, playing, of bringing Perisic. Again, of course, Tottenham were playing against Leicester. So I had this temptation of bringing in Perisic in place of Reece James, and I waited till the very last minute, and eventually, when I figured out that Perisic was very likely to start, I brought him in. So overall, it was not a great week for me. A red arrow once again. I'm back down to 1.6 million. That is where I was the week before. In Game Week 4 or 5, I think I was somewhere around there. And yeah, it's fine. The points are still very close, so scoring having a very good week would absolutely make us jump through the ranks. So I'm absolutely okay with that. And yeah, so eventually the transfer that I did, Perisic was a bit of a oh my god. So I was hoping he gets an attacking return, of course, and probably Tottenham keep a clean sheet. That is, I saw the ceiling being very high. What happened was, Tottenham lost their clean sheet very early. So that meant, it was probably not going to be a double-digit return. Then he got an assist. So I thought 2 + 3, 5 points. And that would mean that, having taken a -4, that would mean that I gain 1 point from taking that hit to bring in that 11th player. Then, Spurs conceded the second goal, which meant Perisic now was on 4 points. Then, for the first time this season, he decided to come off early. He came off somewhere around 55 minutes, 3 points, -1 on transfers, and then finally, Son came in. He scored his first goal of the season, and among all the players on the bench, Perisic was the one who jumped in, and he joined the celebrations, and he got booked after being taken off. The rarest of the rare moments, he ended up with 2 points, meaning I lost 2 points on doing that transfer. And that was pretty much the summation of my Game Week 8, and yeah, it was not pleasant. It was a lot of bad luck. You have those weeks, that's okay. Moving on. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail, because it feels like an eternity, when you have an international break in between. So my Game Week 9 team is, I'm quite happy with where I am. I have already once again made my transfers early, so it's easy for me to put out what I have. And yeah, my takeaway from Game Week 8 was, James Maddison looked so good. So I had this plan very early in the season that somewhere around game week 8 9, when everyone is playing the wildcard, and it's very likely that they're going to go for Maddison, to have enough money to somehow bring in Maddison. And then, not only Leicester were playing badly, Maddison had an injury, and his comeback from injury was pretty odd. He just did not look into it. He just looked frustrated every time he stepped on the pitch and, heads down after yet another bad result. So I just decided to, go back on that plan, but he was so good against Tottenham, and he got 7 points. He could have got much more than that. And with the fixtures that are coming up, I absolutely wanted him in my team at any cost. So I decided to transfer in Maddison in place of Jack Harrison, and I could not do that without actually, making a sacrifice somewhere else. So I decided to take my second hit of the season, which is very rare. I don't like taking hits, and 9 game weeks, and I have already taken 2 hits. I don't plan to take any more going forward, at least before the game week 16 World Cup break-off. So I had to plan it out very strictly, because I also want Wilfried Zaha in my team from game week 10 onwards. Now both Maddison and Zaha were somewhere around, they were very likely to go up in price this week. They have not yet gone up in price, but when I'm recording this video, they have not. There is a price rise happening in somewhere around, an hour from now. So they might, but so I wanted to keep enough money for, to accommodate Zaha in my team in case he goes up, which is very likely, like I said. So I decided to sell off Perisic. My first choice was to bring in Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace. Now, if I waited till now, I would have got Gahey, because Gahey dropped in price yesterday. He's 4-3 now, so I wanted someone at 4-3, and that gave me that 0.1 cover after Zaha goes up in price. So I decided to bring in James Justin, an old trusted friend. He did so well for me during the 2020-21 season. Scored a few goals. He was playing a lot of good football on that left wing, and some of the games he played at right centre back, some of the games he played at right wing back, and until that bad injury he suffered just before the double game week that season, he had a very good run. And I just looked at Justin's performance over the season. I think he has been pretty good. It looks like he's back. He's quite sharp, and he's played every game so far. And of course, Ricardo Pereira is injured right now, which means that there is one space less for Justin to compete with. The only genuine threat that he has for his position is Thomas, and Thomas has barely played this season. And Justin is just there's no guarantee. Even if Thomas comes in, Justin can play on the right back position instead of Castan. And so I bought in Justin and I bought in Maddison, 2 Leicester players. Now I'm tripled up on Leicester, and I'm doubled up on Leicester's defense, which is quite interesting. Now I do have the option of playing both Danny Ward and Justin, but I decided to play Ramsdale instead. Now I think the derby, Spurs vs Arsenal, is going to be a high-scoring game, which probably means that Ramsdale is probably not going to keep a clean sheet. But still, I'm playing him right now because I just don't want to do a double up on Leicester's defense. Anyway, so you can see my team on screen for game week 9, and at the moment I'm captaining Maddison. I I was so confident on him. I just had to take, unless he gets injured, I think he has got an excellent run of fixtures, and before the World Cup he has a point to prove as well. He was not selected for England squad yet again. I don't know how. In my opinion, he has been one of the most informed players since maybe the half of last season. He has played really, really well. He's creative, he's scoring goals when he's playing on that right side of the front three, or even playing behind the striker. I think Maddison should absolutely make the England squad. But I'm not Gareth Southgate. I'm not a genius like him, so So anyway, so that is my team, and yeah, I'm very excited to have Maddison as my captain. I hope I do not change that, but of course, you could go for a Mo Salah, who is going to be back in Liverpool before the end of the day. He's not playing the second match, the second international game that Egypt are taking part in. So he's going to be fairly fresh. Haaland is playing against Man United. If the game was at Old Trafford, I would have thought that there is a chance, because United are defending well right now. But the game being at it being a home game for Man City, I think I just cannot see Haaland not scoring in that, especially against a defense which can be shaky if it concedes the first goal. I think United have been very lucky with their defensive performances so far, and yeah, I'm absolutely backing Haaland to score, but still I think the ceiling is higher with Maddison against that Norwich defense, which has looked really, really poor in second half of the last two games. So yeah, this is actually a video which is much shorter than some of my previous ones. I don't want to make it any longer. Yeah, so that's it. I'm so thankful football is back. Yeah.